Hey guys, what's up? We are back with another video today, and today we are doing our Lions mock draft. So as always, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. Help me reach 500 subscribers for the end of the month of January. I'm only about 40 away, so help me hit that goal by hitting that subscribe button right now. Like this video if you enjoy it. Comment all your thoughts and opinions down below. Comment if you want me to do your team in a mock draft. I am going to plan to do the Vikings and the Cowboys in the upcoming week. But make sure that you put your suggestion of your team down in the comment section. Maybe you want me to do a player profile. I can do a player profile if you really want one. So comment all your thoughts, your opinions, and your video suggestions down below, because this is a channel that I want you guys to enjoy the videos that I produce. So make sure that you're subscribed. Go check out the website. I'll be putting out a lot more articles. All my mock drafts will be on there as well. So if you enjoy this content, make sure you go check out the website as well. So let's get started with today's video. With the second overall pick in the NFL draft, I have the Detroit Lions selecting Aiden Hutchinson, defensive end out of Michigan. Everybody was obviously available except for Kayvon Thibodeau, the defensive end out of Oregon. He was drafted by the Jags with the first pick. So this just seems like an easy pick to me. I thought about drafting offensive tackle, but I just don't believe that's an area of need with the drafting of Penei Sewell last year. You still have a solid offensive line in total. So I think that the biggest need for this team was drafting an edge rusher, somebody that you compare with Julian Okwara, Romeo Okwara, and Austin Bryant. Somebody that is going to be a good pass rusher, not just the two defensive tackles that you have in Levi Uzanariki and Ali McNeil. So, with the 22nd overall pick in the first round, I had the Lions selecting Nakobe Dean, linebacker out of Georgia. Here's the thing I will say. Nakobe Dean, in my opinion, is a top 15 round pick and around the same spot that the last inside linebacker out of Georgia went, who is, in my opinion, an all-pro linebacker first team, Roquan Smith. I think Nakobe Dean really compares a lot to Roquan Smith, and I think is an extremely good player, just like Roquan himself. I think that both of them could live up to potential of being an all-pro, Pro Bowl type of guy. So I think Nakobe Dean, great pick there. Would really fill a need at inside linebacker specifically. You could really use that with only Derek Barnes, a good draft pick from last year, but you kind of don't have any depth. So I think that really helps out the depth of that position there. So with the 34th pick in the second round, I have them selecting Sam Howell, quarterback out of North Carolina. So with this pick, I had three options. I had Sam Howell, I had Desmond Ridder, and I had Malik Willis. So those three quarterbacks, and I was very intrigued on all those selections. And I'm like, with all the selections the Lions had, they have 10 selections. I'm like, it may not be a bad idea to select a quarterback with two big positions of need filled, and the next biggest position is wide receiver, and wide receiver is a position that you can get a lot of talent all throughout the draft. Look at Darnell Mooney in the 5th round as a Bears fan. So I thought a quarterback, and I'm going through each one, and I think the guy that fits the most with the personality of the Lions is Sam Howell himself. The guy just is willing to take a hit. He reminds me a lot of Big Ben, and I think could be the type of quarterback that Dan Campbell's looking for. So I decided to pick him with the 34th pick, the second pick in the second round. So I think that this is a great selection. Has a lot of upside, but at the same time has little risk to it just because you already have those other two first-round picks that you can use. So I think that even though it is a little bit of a risk and he isn't as high potential as some of the quarterbacks last year or some of the quarterbacks in the 2023 class possibly, I think that this is a good selection right here. So with the 66th pick in the third round, I have the Lions selecting John Metchie, wide receiver out of Alabama. This is just great value to me. I think he's a very easily early second round pick, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I'll take him right away. So I think Metchie, even though he tore his ACL, I think he should be good. I don't know whether he'll be good for the combine, but we'll see as medical doctors look at him. I don't know what the exact timeline is of his recovery, whether he'll be ready for that or whether he can do individual workouts or maybe be ready for Georgia's Pro Day. But I think in total, that Metchie's a good wide receiver, a dynamic wide receiver, and something that the Lions really lack outside of Amon-Ra St. Brown, who I really thought was a great selection for the Lions last year. The Lions had a lot of great selections generally. But I think that they really could use a lot of wide receiver help, and I think that this is where you start with John Metchie. With the 97th pick, another third-round pick here for the Lions. I have them selecting Kyran Williams, running back out of Notre Dame. And I understand the Lions have a lot of running back depth. You have DeAndre Swift. You had Jamar Jefferson out of last year's draft, the 7th rounder. Good value there. And you have a lot of depth there. But the one thing I would say is Kyran Williams is a special back. He has a lot of tackle-breaking ability. But that's not the main reason why I think the Lions should draft him here. I think that the main reason here is A, he's a second-round value, and you're drafting him late in the third round, so that's just a value in and of itself. But I think the biggest reason here is I think Kyle Hamilton is a great pass catcher and is a great pass blocker in the backfield. So I think he has some of those intangibles that really help him to get on the football field, not just for running the ball. I think he can play a little bit of slot receiver or a little bit of jet motion or stuff like that out of the backfield in order to get him catches or carries that aren't as original, and maybe you can get a little bit more explosive out of that. With the 177th pick and the 5th round this time, they didn't have a 4th round pick. I had the Lions selecting Emeka Emezi, wide receiver out of NC State. In my opinion, Emeka Emezi is the best, well, one of the best, not the best, but one of the best possession wide receivers coming out of this year's draft. I think he is a very, very underrated receiver coming out of it. I think that he could go really late, like the 5th round selection, but could be an extreme steal. I think that he is a good possession wide receiver. He reminds me a lot of, as a Bears fan, an Allen Robinson. So I think that he could be an extremely good wide receiver talent, and I think he played well all throughout the season. I think he really should be a day 2 pick in the mid-3rd round, in my opinion, but I know he probably won't, so I'm excited to get value there with Emeka Emezi. 4 picks later, I have the Lions selecting Matt Araiza, the punter out of San Diego State. So basically, the Lions have a lot of selections, and this is their 6th round pick. So I'm like, why not? Why not take a position in which I don't know if they really need a punter. I don't know the Lions' situation with punter, but I'm like, well, I'm drafting. I'm like, Matt Araiza. I think that this guy has such a talent, has 80-yard punts sometimes, has an average of 60-plus yards. I'm like, that's something that transfers into the NFL more than any other skill, I feel like. So I really think that this is a value pick for the Lions, a team that has a lot of draft picks, and I think a team that will pick Matt will be a team with a lot of draft picks that has like, I could take a punter, a really valuable punter, later here in the 6th round. So I think that this is a good selection and a selection that could turn out to help you later on. So with the 216th pick, I have him taking Marquis Bell, the safety out of Florida A&M. I'm going to be honest, I haven't heard that much about him, haven't watched any tape of him. But I think that this is a good value selection at a good position of value. So I have them taking Marquis Bell, Florida A&M. I'm not going to say that much because I don't know that much about him. But good position of need with good value, I think. The safety out of Florida A&M. And I also like taking smaller school guys in the later rounds because usually they have a lot of talent and have the ability to continue and to produce in the NFL and have that drive also. Which I think is something that a coach like Dan Campbell would really want. With the 230th pick, I have the Lions selecting Danny Gray, wide receiver out of SMU. So with this pick, I just wanted another wide receiver, and this is the best wide receiver I think was available. That's basically the end of it. It's just best player available. BPA is just what I was looking for with this pick. And then with the final pick, 238, the 10th and final selection for the Detroit Lions, I have them taking Xavier Thomas, defensive end out of Clemson. I think Xavier Thomas has decided to come back, but I did this draft about 2 days ago, and I think he decided today, as I'm recording this, just a couple hours before I started recording this, I think he is going back to Clemson for a 5th year. But I did put him on there, so sorry that he won't be drafted by the Lions, but will be somebody that was a good value selection and an extra edge rusher that you could use, just like Austin Bryant, another player out of Clemson on the Lions that has had a pretty productive season. So as always, make sure the 2 videos down below, hit the subscribe button up here, and have a great day. Bye.